Hello, welcome to my presentation. I'm going to go ahead and give you an update on how my inquiry topic has progressed since starting the search for other articles and information. Let's get started. Where we were at the last video is I ended with a series of things that we learned. My question was, how can we as educators provide high quality orchestra programs to students in low socioeconomic schools? And we discovered that students in minority groups are underrepresented in orchestras and classes. And we discovered that some of the reasons why students who have low socioeconomic status, which I'll be calling SES from now on, may not be enrolling in music programs. Let's take a look at what else I've discovered. First, that there is a real reason to be concerned with the disparity between students with high and low SES in music programs. According to one article I read, 51% of students who participated in all state level performing groups attended preparation camps or classes outside of class, and 79% of those took private instruction. Obviously, that's the majority of students were taking outside of class time instruction to boost their abilities to get to all state level. Now, that's taking a whole bunch of people who do not have access to that and essentially not letting them get into these kinds of things. All-State is a great experience. I was a low SES student myself, and I had to work really, really hard for all the musical opportunities I got. And luckily for me, being in a smaller town in Nebraska, there was more available to me. But if I was growing up in a bigger city, then it becomes really difficult because you don't have the resources to go outside and take private lessons or go attend all state level camps. And it's been shown that students who do attend these kinds of extracurricular activities go a lot farther in the professional music world than those who don't. Obviously, this is a problem if we're trying to deliver a good education to all students. And another thing I found was that music programs in schools that were considered low SES had a lot of issues not only with funding of the school. This is because a lot of times schools receive their funding from local taxes. So lower tax communities will have less money to put into their education system, but also from their administration in the actual budget calculations, because low SES schools tend to be more significantly lower than, score significantly lower than high socioeconomic schools. This creates a perception of a failing program, and the administrators sometimes choose to cut or reduce the funding to them because they don't think that they're getting what they need out of it. Another area of interest is moving students from high school into college. We have students who a lot of times will invest quite a bit of personal time learning an instrument, several years, and then they get to college and they just drop everything. And I've always been wondered what happened with that. And one of the things I found out is that the issue of students participating in music programs who have a low SES also balloons up into higher ed as well. I mean, technically, aren't all of us college students poor anyways, except unless you go to a rich family or whatever. But we all take out loans and we do other things to struggle to make it through college. But students who start off as SES also have added problems. In this one study, we found out that students who have low SES going into college oftentimes choose not to participate in college music ensembles because of added financial burdens placed upon them from the tuition, extra credits you're taking, and the extra length of the program before graduation. Sometimes as a double major or something like that, you have to be in school a little bit longer, or it doesn't leave you as much time to work, which is another thing that I didn't add on the text there, but a lot of these students work full-time while they're trying to go to school. This causes many students to drop out after enrolling or not enrolling in music courses at all, and sometimes even college. Students from low SES families also tended to college shop more, which is moving around from college to college instead of staying at one institution to complete their studies, because they were trying to find the best experiences for the money. This is not, I wouldn't say, a great practice because, of course, as you're transferring one university to another, sometimes they take your credit, sometimes they don't. And so you're taking classes that may or may not transfer to another school, just trying to get a better price, bang for the buck. But what is actually happening is it's lengthening the amount of time. They may have, scholastic fatigue. They're moving from school to school, city to city. And this is, of course, a problem that will lead to future problems in adult life. Well, as I was researching and coming up with this 20 citations for the paper and Lou coming up with this project as well, a number of further questions came up. One, what further aspects does SES have on music programs? What effect does SES have on the curriculum? What instructional changes can be made to help students with low SES get the same educational access as students with high SES? I'm not talking about, a socialistic idea of making sure everybody does, this and that other thing, but we are supposed to provide all the students in our classroom with the same opportunities as best we can. So how do we do that? Our curriculum's biased towards white clientele. I thought that was interesting. One of the studies that they're talking about too is that, when we study music history, sometimes in orchestra, we're really only studying European history from Germany, Austria, and that area. We're completely neglecting even places like Spain, which was also right close there. Why are minority students so typically in situations where they are considered at risk or low socioeconomic? And what would a curriculum look like that was designed to take in the needs of the community instead of a more traditional avenues instruction? Especially music education, we can change our approaches to how we get to teaching the skills without having to necessarily subscribe to a European-centric curriculum. In the process of this, I kind of came up with a few questions that I thought were the most important for me to try and answer. The first one, I've adapted my inquiry topic statement to be how can we provide a high quality learning experience to all children in a music program regardless of socioeconomic status or race. So what would that look like? How would it be implemented? And what services can we use to give low SES students the advantages that high SES students get? That's my presentation. Thank you for watching it. Sorry there wasn't any Legos or anything else that I like to try and throw into these kinds of videos. I'm actually at my parents' house on a vacation while I'm working on all this stuff, but I wanted to get it done and I felt it would be good to see some of your feedback. Bye.